Set in Yucatan, Mexico, around the year 1502, Apocalypto portrays the hero's journey of a young man named Jaguar Paw, a late Mesoamerican hunter and his fellow tribesmen. A tapir runs frantically through the forest before it springs a tripwire trap and is impaled on a swinging branch full of spikes. Young Jaguar Paw puts the tapir out of its misery and eagerly divides its internal organs between his fellow hunters, Curl Nose, Smoke Frog, and Cocoa Leaf. They are soon interrupted by a band of refugees passing through the forest, looking downtrodden. One of them, a fisherman, addresses Jaguar Paw and explains that their village was attacked and that they are seeking a new beginning. They exchange food before the group moves on, though Jaguar Paw is keen to know more about what happened. The tribesmen return to the village. Blunted returns to his wife, Skyflower, and then runs out screaming and holding his privates. Flint Sky falls to the ground laughing, as the leaves he gave Blunted were meant to cause a burning sensation when rubbed. The following morning, Jaguar Paw wakes early from a dream and notices fire torches quickly approaching the village. Warriors appear, igniting huts and apprehending the villagers. Jaguar Paw takes his wife and son but is charged by a raider. He pushes his family away from the spear's direction and throws the raider out of the hut. He quickly takes and puts them in a deep cistern to hide. He ties a rope to a nearby rock so that they can climb out again. But as he was helping them down, a raider spots Jaguar Paw and charges at him. Letting go of the rope, his wife and kid fall to the ground. The raider and Jaguar Paw begin to fight, but the raider is taken down, and as he is down, he spots the wife and kid. Held from the leg by Jaguar Paw, he is then killed by striking him in the head before running back to the village to help. However, the village is soon overrun. Blunted is held down while Skyflower is forced into a hut where she is presumably raped and killed. Jaguar Paw attempts to free his father but is knocked down by a raider and is held by the neck. Middle Eye, a raider nearly killed by Jaguar Paw, nicknames him Almost, was nearly about to kill Jaguar Paw but is stopped by the fierce-looking leader of the Halkanes, Zero Wolf. Flint Sky, Jaguar Paw's father, tells his son not to be afraid as Middle Eye props him up and slits his throat. Jaguar Paw is then knocked out cold but then wakes up to see that all the surviving captives are tied up and led away, attached to each other on long poles, while the children of the village are left with none but the dead for company. As the Halkane hunting party leads the captives into the forest, one of them, Snake Inc., notices Jaguar Paw looking towards the cistern as they pass. Snake Inc. investigates but does not notice Seven and Turtles Run. He is, however, suspicious of the rope dangling into the hole and cuts it. The party meets up with a second raiding group which has caught the band of refugees seen the day before. Jaguar Paw recognizes the fishermen as the two groups are led further into the forest. They cross a raging river and struggle to keep their heads above water. While treading a narrow path on a cliff, Cocoa Leaf, severely injured in the village raid, loses his footing and dangles over the edge. As they near civilization, a tree tips over, nearly crushing the group of tribesmen. The party crosses through a deforested area and failed maize crops where villagers lay dead, decimated by a plague. A small girl, sick and with sores on her face and hands, approaches the party but suddenly looks towards Jaguar Paw with a blank expression. She then looks at Snake Inc. and prophesies their doom, warning of a man who brings blackness of night in a jaguar, is reborn of mud and earth, and who will bring those that will cancel out the sky and scratch you out. They enter a city where workers toil in limestone quarries, covered white by the excess and spreading quick lime over buildings. A worker coughs blood and an old man approaches the captives, drooling and begging for help. He is kicked away by a Halkane and told to die with dignity. The women captives are separated from the men and are sold as slaves. Blunted watches as his mother-in-law is auctioned but rejected due to her age. She is freed to wander and she follows Blunted as far as she can go, touching his arm assuredly before closing her eyes against a pillar, helpless. The men are led through a tunnel where they see pictures on the walls depicting human sacrifices. Women paint their bodies blue as they are led to the top of a step pyramid. The heads of victims are tossed down the steps and collected in baskets at the bottom. Jaguar watches as the first captive is sacrificed, his heart ripped out and his head severed. The same fate befalls Curl Nose before Jaguar Paw is brought to the sacrificial pedestal. Seemingly accepting his fate, he waits until the high priest stops due to a solar eclipse. The priest announces to the clamoring crowd that their god is pleased and begs for the sun to come back. However, the priest and the Mayan leaders are well aware that the eclipse will eventually pass. They use the celestial events to wield power over the public and their enemies. He then instructs Zero Wolf to get rid of the other captives. Jaguar Paw and the others are taken to an old ball court where they are instructed to run the length in pairs towards the forest at the end with a cynical promise of freedom should they make it. Cut Rock runs ahead to the end of the court as a finisher, and it becomes clear that the captives are to be used as target practice. Blunted and Smoke Frog are the first to run, but Blunted is speared in the lower back and Smoke Frog is hit with a large stone before being finished by Cut Rock. Next, Jaguar Paw and the fisherman are told to flee. Though they evade most of the projectiles, the fisherman is shot through the head by Snake Inc.'s arrow and Jaguar Paw is impaled through his side, falling near Blunted. Before Cut Rock can finish him, Blunted lunges and grabs Cut Rock by the leg, buying Jaguar Paw some time. Cut Rock kills Blunted with a single blow to the head, but Jaguar Paw breaks off the arrowhead in his own body and stabs Cut Rock in the neck. Cut Rock stumbles as Jaguar Paw stands, removes the arrow shaft from his side, and runs into the forest. Desperately looking for a hiding spot, he quickly climbs up a tree that is leaned over. Zero Wolf runs to his son and coaxes him into eternal sleep. As his son dies in his arms, Zero Wolf takes back his dagger and puts his son's necklace into his belt before running after Jaguar Paw, bent on revenge. The other Hallcanes follow him. Meanwhile, Jaguar Paw remains in the tree hiding, blood still dripping from his wound. One of the tribesmen notices blood on his friend's shoulder and they realize that he is up above them somewhere. They begin to search and backtrack. Jaguar Paw turns to see a black jaguar cub growling at him. He hears a louder roar behind him and turns to see the threatening mother jaguar. They soon see Jaguar Paw running through the forest and Speaking Wind pursues him. As their paths merge in a clearing, Speaking Wind is attacked by the jaguar that was chasing Jaguar Paw. He is viciously mauled to death before the others arrive and kill the jaguar. As the Hallcanes eventually catch up to Jaguar Paw, he is cornered and forced to leap over the edge of a high waterfall. He survives and stands on the riverbank, calling out to the Hallcanes that this is his forest and his descendants will continue to hunt in it. Impatient, Zero Wolf stabs Snake Inc. when he suggests climbing down rather than jumping. Buzzard Hook is the first to jump, but dies when he hits his head on a submerged rock. The others are luckier and continue their pursuit. As he flees, Jaguar Paw lands in a muddy sinkhole, but manages to climb out. After he does so, he pauses and decides that he is not afraid and will no longer run. As the Hallcanes approach, Jaguar Paw, covered in black mud, confronts them and tosses a live wasp's hive at them, instigating the wasps to attack. Jaguar Paw runs towards a stream where he finds a poison arrow frog and collects its venom on a few large thorns. He runs in a circle and hides in the reeds, waiting for the Hallcanes. He fires his darts at Hanging Moss, already weakened by the wasp stings. As Hanging Moss falls to the ground, his cries attract Middle Eye, who runs back. Middle Eye comes face to face with Jaguar Paw and they run at each other, each eyeing the bludgeon that Hanging Moss dropped. Middle Eye swings his own as they approach each other and Jaguar Paw barely manages to duck, suffering a mild blow to the head. As he slides under Middle Eye's attack, Jaguar Paw picks up Hanging Moss bludgeon and rises to strike Middle Eye in the temple. Middle Eye calls him almost one last time as Jaguar Paw kills him with a blow under the chin. It suddenly begins to rain and Jaguar Paw races to the cistern, knowing that it will soon fill with water. Jaguar Paw gets to the cistern to find it filling with water and Seven in labor, screaming for him to hurry. An arrow narrowly misses Jaguar Paw and he runs into the jungle as Zero Wolf closes in. Monkey Jaw and Ten Peccary pause by the cistern to see Seven and Turtles run at the bottom before resuming the chase. Jaguar Paw stops at a specific spot in the forest that he recognizes and turns to face Zero Wolf, who shoots an arrow into his shoulder. Though wounded, Jaguar Paw stands, waits, and watches as Zero Wolf charges at him with his dagger drawn. Zero Wolf fails to notice a tripwire and sets off the taper trap, becoming impaled on its sharp spikes. He dies as Monkey Jaw and Ten Peccary arrive. Seven gives birth in the cistern to a boy. Monkey Jaw and Ten Peccary chase Jaguar Paw to the beach where he collapses from exhaustion. When they catch up with him, they stop, staring at the sea where a small fleet of Spanish ships is anchored. Soldiers and missionaries are rowing to shore in small boats. Mesmerized, Monkey Jaw and Ten Peccary approach the shoreline while Jaguar Paw races back to the cistern. He finds that Seven has just given birth and pulls his family out of the cistern. Later, when the rain stops, Jaguar Paw carries his newborn son, followed by Seven and Turtles run. They look back towards the Spanish ships and Seven asks if they should go to them. Jaguar Paw says that they should, instead, go to the forest and seek a new beginning. I want to thank you for taking the time in watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to get more of this type of content and turn on the bell notification to be notified